Greetings everyone, my name is Captain the Underseeker, and today with me is Kassirex, and we're going to talk about Dial, about the recent updates that we get from their Discord server and that we things that we saw in game and all the other stuff. Cassie,
Yes.
what are your thoughts about the recent development that we heard that Legacy is going to be removed from
Um,
after the next update?
well, firstly, I'm going to say, because I know I'm seeing other people ask about that, there's nothing confirmed about that yet, but I would definitely think if they were going to do that, I would strongly advise against it, because I've stated this before, unless this next update brings some spectacular improvement to Everma,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to be a pointless exercise to get rid of Legacy, because there won't be enough game there play any Burma to warrant getting rid of the legacy branch. You might have a few more dinosaurs and creatures to play as, but unless dietary things like AI and herbivore food are improved and someone does something about the environment so it's not just a green hell,
Yeah, that would be
we are
actually.
going to be stuck with a lot of nothing for a while.
I think they're also doing it because of like at the moment Legacy is like underpopulated. Everybody's still playing. Quite a lot of people are still playing Legacy actually. Like we saw that earlier today in
Yeah.
EOF. That EOF is still a very populated server on Legacy. But the thing is,
Yep.
at the moment as well, on the I said in the Vrima, the map is basically a green hell. Like
Yeah.
they had grazing in the beginning of launching Vrima for the Tonontos because there was no AI or anything edible yet. Um, the thing that did was kind of nerded or probably took it out completely because nobody was actually playing it as it should intended. Also
Yes, because when
mm,
you continue.
also the problem is at the moment that the food sources for the herbies are like hell far away. They're
Few
not
and far between.
yeah they're not even close to water or anything. They're just in the middle of nowhere. If you're a juvie in Avrima and you're either spawning far away from the water or close to a bush, you're gonna die from either dehydration or starvation, or you're gonna get
Because of having
eaten.
to walk between both of them and then risking getting eaten by something else.
Yeah, true. Like I tried to level up a stego. It took me almost half an hour to find an edible bush because of the grazing not working as it should.
Yeah.
That's something I do not know. Like, did they actually took it out, or did they nerf it so far below
Okay.
progress that it
Because I
is?
that is not useful anymore. Well, and I know again people have asked this question before, is that when grazing first came in, it was something
Mhm.
like it gave you 20 to 30% boost on your food bar.
Yeah,
Because it was basically would work the same as eating a bush, but just slower and less percentage over time. They nerfed it down to 10% to the point where it barely keeps your hunger dead even. One of our friends clearly stated that it basically you starve, but slower. To the point where it is just grazing is now utterly useless mechanic to begin with.
true.
I
That
could only advise them to put it back to the way it was because, like we said, actual food bushes are too few and far between. You're going to starve between journeys to each bush.
yeah, like the best thing that they're gonna do is at least bring it up to 25% so that you can actually get something out of it. Like doesn't need to be
Yeah,
30 or 40%. No, 25% is in my case, in my opinion, the best percentage to be at it.
it could actually lead to a play style too for the carnivores. Because if you think about it, if your herbivore, I know the camera is definitely not going to be the same as like actual first person, but whatever.
Mhm.
If the herbivore's got its head down, focused on grazing, whether or not it's moving or not, it still got itself more focused on that at the time. So basically, unless they're moving the camera around the entire time while they're doing it, a carnivore can take advantage of that, sneak up behind them, and start attacking them.
True. But that's where the survival instinct of the player comes in. Like, if it's not,
Yeah.
you can graze all you want, but always be,
Mindful of your surroundings.
yes. Like, if you graze, keep, like, what I do when I'm eating in Legacy, food is, or drinking, is like constantly keep my camera turning around, like at least 180 degrees so I can see everywhere, so I can see 360 degrees around myself.
Yep.
That way I'm aware of what's happening, and that way I can respond to things that are creeping up closer than they should. Um, anyway, the playable species in Evrima after the next update is gonna be Stego, Dryo, Tononto, Hypso for Herbies, Dinosuchus, Carno, Terra, and Utah for the Carnies.
Yep.
I think we're kind of starting getting a balanced ecosystem there. Like,
Starting to.
yeah, but not enough. The
No.
AI is still kind of fucked.
A lot more the background elements of the ecosystem need to be put in and improved.
Mhm.
Especially considering that that was they're saying because they're starting with the smaller creatures and working their way up was their general plan for this version of the Isle, and so far they have not necessarily been following through so much.
No, like, I still remember that Donnie said like at least once a month there's gonna be an update, like with new dinosaurs. At least now
Yeah.
what we get is like between 2 to 3,
Yep.
4 months before we get an update.
Yes.
Like, I
There hasn't been a
know,
6 month stretch yet, but still, that's too much time between. So either they're trying to pile too much stuff into one singular update at
mhm.
a time, or they're dragging their asses on things that they really shouldn't be. And I have no problem people taking breaks on work, but if you're procrastinating on this nonsense, it's not going to get done any faster.
Not true. But as said, like the Dinosaurs will come in the next update, so they need to be having fish. So as long as the
Yes.
fish does not work, update 3 will not launch as it should, because the
No.
Dinosaurs needs to have the fish as main food source.
Yes,
It will
because
it will eat other dinosaurs as well, in my opinion, because of getting close to the
sheer
water.
size as
Yeah,
an adult.
getting close to the water, but the fish is necessary. So I think that's why they either they have to put down the Dinosuchus for this update and the fish as well, because the Pteranodon is close to playing
Also,
playable.
yeah, that's primarily, despite what people like to try and say, scavenger, Pteranodon is a piscivore, i.e., eats fish.
Yeah, like the Pteranodon will eat fish and flesh and meat at the
Yes.
same time. That's what we see in BOB as well. Like, you can eat both, and the fish gives you a slight saturation, I think, in BOB.
Yes, because it's your natural food source, so it gives you a boost because it's what you're meant to be eating.
Yeah.
However, it just means it's a boost specific to that thing. It doesn't mean that if you eat just meat, you're going to get some nerfs or something.
Also, as today, like we played Legacy today, right? And
Yes.
if you get coordinated while good, you can take out a T-Rex or another Apex. But then again, the sheer force put into a T-Rex, and if they're gonna implant a T-Rex in Evrima at one point, you're gonna have a problem with the forest, because the forests are too dense, so you cannot ambush as a T-Rex. The problem
Yes.
there is the T-Rex. It's not really stated yet by any scientist, but there are discussions about it. Is the T-Rex is basically a pack hunter.
Yeah, again, this is anything you should take with a grain of salt with these theories too, because this is just talking to the viewers in general.
Mm-hmm.
These are based on dig sites where they find multiple specimens in one spot of different age categories.
Yeah.
And this could be family groups, this could be just mass dying and or some bullshit. So we're not sure how this correlates to behavior, but it is a distinct possibility considering there are plenty of other members of the Tyrannosaur family that seem to have had these mass burial sites.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's more common for tyrannosaurs in general than it is for some of the other forms of carnivore dinosaur, including the raptors. People.
Raptor is a pack hunter. Anything that anybody else says a raptor, a Utahraptor, is a pack hunter, you cannot deny that.
Eh, don't push it.
Like
Yes.
basically, in my own theory, how I think it should have been 65 million. I have done any studies on on dinosaurs ever, people, but it's
This
just
is
my
why I'm here.
it's basically my honest opinion about it. How I think it should have been. Um, the Rex, a lone Rex, is a dead Rex. I don't
Eh,
I don't think that's very wrong there, but people saying that the
honestly,
Spino and the T-Rex live in the same age, they need to rethink what is true, because the T-Rex and the
yeah.
Spinosaurus, it's very clear that they do not live in the same age. A lot of
So they
people,
both lived in the Cretaceous, not at the same point in time in that period, though. Spino lived 95, T-Rex lived 65, and they were separated by at least two different continents and a giant ocean.
they will never have fought each other. What you
Met
ever
ever.
seen, what you see in Jurassic Park 3, people,
Nope,
that's a big
definitely not.
no-no. That does not
Yes,
work. That will never happen. That's basically a movie that wants to score big on the audience.
yes, and it subsequently failed at trying to do that, considering how much backlash it got from that whole choice.
Yes, especially the scientists went bogus on that part.
Yeah, you can blame Mr. Jack Horner for that one. Anyways, but as we're getting back to the whole thing of, again, pack hunting and dinosaurs, it's neither here nor there at this point because scientists are kind of divided at that point. But yes, with the environment as it is,
Mm-hmm.
you can hide, but sure you can hide. Can you actually go anywhere once you're hidden in the forests? No, because you can't see shit. If you're big, you're gonna bump into a tree every 5 steps.
Mm. Like the jungle on Avrima is basically too
Yeah,
dense, in my opinion.
I'll
If you're a
yeah, I'll
juvie,
be happy.
or if sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll be happy when the redwoods come in.
Yes, but then again, if the redwoods coming in, the map will again expand bigger than it is already, and we already have a huge map. Like
Yes,
the
and it's a
size of V3 is a good size.
yeah.
I don't know why Dundee or any creator thinks it's like, oh no, but we're gonna make a bigger map because people are asking for bigger maps. If you play with 100 people on V3, the chances that you bump into one of those 100 people is quite high. But if you play with 100 people on the map of Isla Spyro, the
Or
chance you bump,
even their magnum opus, their big one, Sparrow, you're not gonna run into anybody.
you will never see somebody at all. You're gonna wander around for hours and do not see anybody. We
I
in
know Dondi said something about making the. I know we shouldn't be quoting Dondi as much anymore, but still said something about not seeing a dinosaur every 50 feet, like you do in Ark, but do not see any dinosaurs whatsoever on a map that big. It's going to be just the opposite problem.
yeah, not bumping into things that you can hunt or kill or
Yeah,
scare the living shit out of it. The
yeah,
thing is, Legacy had a very good gameplay environment, in my opinion. Like the woods weren't too dense, the maps were the perfect size for things, and basically what's happening now is they twisting that all around, and people they want. To, I think the main reason they want to close Legacy is to get the entire player base from Legacy into Evrima, so they have more people playing the actual game that they're creating now instead of handing stuck to what they have. at the moment.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what World of Warcraft have. World of Warcraft has that as well at the moment. They have like the classic environment because people were asking and demanding for the legacy vanilla brand, the classic one, like how it used to be, and then that entire thing got blown out by the community, and a lot of people are playing classic again, like it should be played. And I think Donny wants to close up legacy so that we are forced to play Evrima with the lack of in-game depth that we have at the moment.
Which might just do the opposite of what they want to do and actually drive even more people away from playing the game because there's not going to be enough to do in the game, and people are going to be wanting to go and do places where they can actually do shit.
True. Like also the thing, the human structures on Evrima does not make sense at all.
No, because they have no rhyme or reason, at least with the basic ones that you had on places like Region 2, Thenya, and E3, and all the older maps. They made some sense in that their location was either strategic or dealt in with other landmarks in the area. But there's just test objects for human structures scattered haphazardly around the map for Spyro. Okay, I know it's a test structure, but you could have at least put some thought into where you're going to put it.
Yeah, like
And make it so that it's at least an easy spot to find for people that want to see it.
okay, we found them because I'm an admin on the server and I could uh, look
Yeah.
for them up in the sky, but
Saved us hours of running around in the middle of nowhere.
basically, yeah.
Pretty much.
Like the position of Radio Tower, in my opinion, is perfect. Like high up on a mountain yet again with a good overview of the map. You can
Yep.
see quite a lot over there. It's very good thought of. That's a very well spotted place to put it. But the
Yep.
other one, the small one, the small cage with the containers and such, does not make sense at all because it's gonna make you feel like kind of like the port or cargo on V3. That area
Yeah.
on V3 makes sense. It's close to the ocean.
It
Ships
has
can,
ways of getting in and out.
yeah, it's close to the ocean. Ships can dock, ships can go. But on the Vrima, there's not even a port or something close to the water that's like, oh yeah, this is actual a place that ships can dock.
And there's not even roads that lead to the structure that has the fence and the crates in it.
No,
It's
true.
just standing in the middle of an open field, doing nothing.
Right, that's what you see on V3 as well. If you run from port to barracks, you have this like winding road through the woods that basically leads up to them.
Yeah.
Unless you're on Twins Lake, the structure there.
Yeah, that has no way of getting to it, but that's kind of understandable considering this was back when they were still working on Legacy,
Mhm.
and they had just several structures there that were unfinished and that they were going to be getting around to, quote unquote, eventually.
Work on.
Yes.
Guess what? They're not gonna do it. They're just gonna implant
Nope.
Evrima.
Yes.
Right.
And I think there's going to be plenty of people that will agree with us in saying Golden Age of the Isle was back in the era of Region 2, like before Rex V3,
Yeah,
like the third remodel for the Rex.
I'm gonna be honest. I never played on Region 2. I started playing on V3.
Yeah.
Um, but the game, how I played it as it should be, was perfectly, in my opinion, like the. I think now we have the third update from the Rex, right?
Yeah, this was the model that we have currently in the game is the third version. The first one was a back when the Isle started up when they bought a lot of assets off of the Stomping Lands.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was the second update that looks like the Rex in the old dossier files that if anybody remembers those things. And then this one is the most recent Rex that's basically looks like Jurassic Park Rex but with a skinnier face.
True. Like the update second Rex, I used to favorite that Rex constantly. I have like grown 12 to 13 Rexes in 900 hours that I played the Isle on my certain bleh, on my current account. I have like 900 hours, close to 1,000 hours, and in those 1,000 hours I grew 13 Rexes. That is the
Yep.
most dedicated dinosaur I'm into in Legacy to play as. But you will not see me play a Rex on a Rima. I will not favorite it when it launches because of you cannot go into the forest, you cannot hide anywhere, you're constantly on the open plains. People will scatter away from you.
The minute they see you. And depending on which route they go with Rex, because there's the classic ambush hunter, and then there's also the new fangled theory that Rex was actually a kind of slow speed pursuit predator. Either way, you're not going to get close enough to close the distance to kill anything if you're walking around in the middle of the open field and everything can see you.
Like the dash at the I call it the dash, but some people call
Sprint.
the sprint, but the dash at the ambush sprint that they have in Legacy is perfect. You can catch up to smaller dinosaurs like pretty easy.
And it's
But
just a matter of getting close enough to actually use it
yeah,
right.
like how I do it in Legacy is I start slow walking to watch my prey, so that my foot sounds already silent as they are. The moment I'm like close to 50 meters away, in game like, I'm gonna crouch the next 25 meters and then I will ambush it because those things all are considered being aware of your environment, and if you do not, as a prey, if you do not look around, you will not spot the Rex until it's too late.
Yep.
Because the moment you hear that boom, 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 boom behind you, it's done.
You're done.
It's too late. You're gonna react not fast enough.
Yep.
And that is what they need to implant, in my opinion. In if they're gonna add the redwoods, I hope it's not as dense as the jungle.
From what that little teaser that we saw from Dondi's little snitch stream,
Mm-hmm.
snitch, is that it is a less dense environment. Think redwoods of back in the old days, but the trees aren't necessarily as big. They're
Mm-hmm.
tall, but they're not as fat. Um, it's a less dense environment, but it's also a lot more uneven terrain. It's not as like flat and open either.
All right. So basically, we're gonna have some hills in it.
Hills, little kind of ravines and things. There's also what appear to be logs you can actually walk up. I'm not sure. I didn't see much of that leak to get any
No,
good sense other than what it looked like.
I will see if I can find some stuff and edit it in. It's no problem.
Yep.
The thing is as well, but everybody knows the biggest landmark and everybody knows how it looks like, so I'm not gonna explain why it's called like that. That's the only landmark we have at the moment. That's the only thing that you can pinpoint on the map and kind of tell you where you are.
Yep.
The
Because
problem,
it's the only thing you can see from anywhere.
yeah, the problem is with the sniffing at the moment, you will do not see any wind direction.
No.
Right?
And it kind of sucks too, because that is a big way of how people coordinate on Legacy is
Yeah,
knowing the four cardinal directions and what is in what direction and how far.
yeah. Like
And
I,
without that, and you just got little pointers, it's not going to help you find anything.
no, true. Like I kind of get, well, people call it me getting lost during the day, but basically I call it sightseeing. Like
Yeah, he gets lost a lot.
I was like the most. If you gonna count walking wise, how many kilometers I walked on V3, I'm probably the only person that's gonna get hit 10,000 kilometers of walking on V3.
Walked every inch of it sightseeing. Do the
Yes.
quotation marks around that and whatnot.
Like sightseeing people is basically walking from docks, cargo as you want to call it, to Lake 1 of Twins Lake.
and getting turned
Is
around every 5 feet you step.
is the shortest distance you can walk, basically, from
Yes, but somehow you've made it the longest distance to
uh,
walk.
from the basically smallest cargo plane that you have to the biggest lake that you're gonna hit in that area of the map, the very first
Yep.
big lake. I had a tendency to either end up at the aviary or somewhere in the swamps.
Yes, that's on the complete opposite side of the map. Put it this way, where you start out on cargo is literally a lagoon, a land bridge, and a good few kilometer walk from aviary or canyon,
Something like that, yeah.
whereas Lake One is literally 5 minutes
Not
from
even,
cargo.
not even 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Like I remember one point I was like walking to Lake One as well, and at one point I was like talking to a friend of mine and on Discord as well, and then I was like, "Is there actually a waterfall near Twins?" And everybody was like,
What?
"What? What? No, there isn't. Oh fuck, I'm lost
Yes.
again." Well, I was sightseeing,
Yes, quite. Anyways,
but if
he
you want,
wound up
if
at the dump.
but if you want to know some plays on V3, I know my way better than anyone because I've been sightseeing
Yes, it's
always.
called He's Walked Everywhere to the point where he now knows where everything is.
Like you can drop me anywhere on the map on V3. Like there's no problem there for me anymore to get from that point to docks. But I have to tell you, I use the sniffing tool in my
Yeah,
advantage. I use the cardinal directions in my advantage. On Evrima, you cannot use those things in your favor.
no.
Well,
Another thing.
I already got a new theory on that. I use the sun for that.
Yeah. Where it's sitting in the sky is the best way you can think of to try and get anywhere if any Vermeer, since it's got a day-night cycle now.
Yeah.
The other problem too I find, because how I navigate is when I do get lost, I head for the nearest high ground so I can actually see where I am on the map.
Yeah, but that's a
Most
problem.
Everma map is very flat, and most of the mountains and hills have a lot of these weird spots that you can't go up, even though due to terrain alignment, you should by all rights be able to walk up this spot. But if you remember from the old streams of them developing Everma map, they have these special bushes that indicate you can't walk up here.
Yeah, that's annoying.
You have to basically billy goat your way around all over the place, not seeing half the time where you're going. Heck, they tried to eliminate that with all this, and they've only made it worse.
Yeah, the problem is there that if you get into the jungle woods, the density and the way some hills are created, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You will constantly have to be careful. Like every single step you take is a certain death on the other
Yes.
side of the sheer cliff. Like
Yep.
I know about cliffs.
Yes. You've made a
Everybody,
habit of falling off of them.
everybody who knows Captain D Hunterseeker from the Legacy knows that the moment there is a cliff, I have probably been either jumped off, yeeted off, walked off, fall off, like everything that
or
ends up
glitched off.
or glitched off because of lag spikes. Like I know them all. Like I can already tell by the looks of certain cliffs on Legacy that, and with any type of dinosaur, it's either a death or a broken leg or I'm gonna survive it.
Yep. Uh, put it this way, his habit is, as he puts it, I test fall damage wherever I go. Yep, it works here.
Basically. Uh, there's one time I did that on Great Falls, I think. Was it Great Falls? Yeah, Great Falls. I was a Maiasaurus and
Yes, I think I remember that one.
I was going down and accidentally slid off the side of the cliff. So I
Yeah.
broke my leg. I was still on the edge, and basically I was basically doing the mountain goat thingy.
Just
I was like
do my best to stick to this wall.
I was constantly against the wall and then trying to find the best spot to go down. I made it down in one piece with one broken leg. And then I was healed up and I started running back to the group that I was in, and then several hundred meters further, a cliff appeared.
Yay!
Everybody was like, stop, stop, stop. I was like, yeet! I jumped off that, I fell off that cliff. Ended up yet again with a broken leg. I didn't die a single time when I fell off that cliff.
Or, this is the one I was actually there for. There's the other time where we were spawning in on Thenya, for everybody who knows that map, as galleys. And within the first, what was that, first few minutes?
Not even minutes.
Honor,
11.
not even minutes.
11 seconds, people.
New record for Honor. He went off a cliff and died.
11 seconds. Spawned in the game, started walking, fall off the cliff, dead. Like, that was my best record ever. I've not broken that record yet. Because now in Legacy it takes ages to load in.
Yep.
Like, your dinosaur will be in the map before you actually see your own dinosaur.
Yes.
Like, before it was, you spawn in the map and then you see your dinosaur. Now it's the other way around.
Yeah. But at this point, that just proves the other point that they made when they were actually going to talking about making Everma, is that they tried to update Legacy at its later points, and every time it did, and current Legacy is proof of that. It just fucked up the game even more. I have to put this squarely on the point of mismanagement of the code in the Legacy branch of the game. There's no singular person's fault, it's just general mismanagement of that branch of the game.
No, it's basically not anything wrong with the branch of the game. It's basically the rendering of the game, of the maps, is becoming so difficult because of everything is getting better, getting expanded.
Yeah.
And they didn't anticipate on that. So that's where the first problem become. Anticipation. Yes. Like, if they anticipated on those loading screens and etc., they would have a better chance to keep Legacy and keep working on the Vrima on the background until it was close to nearly done. Now we're stuck with basically two games that are basically not working properly.
Exactly. And honestly, yeah, I agree with that. They really, if they were going to plan on making Everma or anything, they really should have just kept it completely quiet until I would prefer quietness and no hints of anything than teasers and teasers and teasers and still nothing happening, and then we finally get it and it's a disappointment. I would have preferred nothing at all to what we got.
I don't mind small teasers along the way. Like, the moment they teased the Dinosuchus, we already knew that there was a new branch from the Isle coming in. Like, everybody was like talking about the update for months on every single server we went on. Like, global chats were going zungas on all those things.
Like, bonkers.
Yeah, it was constantly like, oh, did you saw that? And did you saw that? And everybody was like hyped for it. Now everybody's
unfortunately that's kind of where the problem went.
Now we have two separate groups, like people who plays Legacy for like because of its legacy and it's still working like how it kind of should. And then we have the people that are like, yeah, but Evrima is going to be better and we want to play Evrima and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But Evrima people, in my opinion, and I think I speak for everybody on my server at the moment in Discord, is like Evrima is kind of boring.
Yes. Extremely.
The Dryo AI is a good intention to put in new AI, but
poorly executed though.
It runs so fast to be an AI. It's like it can run away people from a Utah in full sprint.
Yes.
Like,
And the worst bit is where we're tying back into the environment is that because the dryo is green and everything else is green, everything just disappears in all the green. So
yes.
all the dryo needs to do is go into a single bush, turn around, run back the other way, and you will lose it instantaneously.
Like, also, the moment you hear the dryo, it's already gone. It's
Yes.
gone. You can never find it. You will never see it. You just heard it. Second problem in Evrima, the ambient sound in the forests.
Yes, because those are loud and obnoxious, and there is actually a ambient dryo sound in there. Didn't know if anybody knew that, but there is an ambient dryo sound that's not connected to any AI whatsoever. It's just there to annoy the living shit out of you and get your hopes up that there's something you can eat over there, when really it's just a noise emanating from the void.
Yeah, it's just like poof, and you're gonna be like, oh, there's food at the carnivore, and then you're gonna yeet into the forest, and you will never find anything because it was just ambient sound. Like, we're
Now,
not here to down talk Evrima at all, people, but just in
we hope
general,
it's successful, but
yes,
the way it's going now, it's getting really hard to keep promoting it and having hope in it.
it's very difficult to keep our hopes up at the moment. Like, we've been stuck on the second update since November. That
I want to say at least early December, honestly. I can't
yeah,
remember at this point.
well, it's somewhere close to the beginning of the winter.
Yeah, somewhere around two
So
or 3 months now.
let's say, like people in America say it, around the time of Thanksgiving.
Yes, because their Thanksgiving is screwy. Anyways,
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that, but
no,
like the start of the holiday season, like
yes,
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year,
all
everything.
that fun stuff.
Yes, somewhere in between Thanksgiving and the beginning of December, they launched update 2, Dry AI,
But
meat system, every
Stego,
Stego, Hipsy. Wow, I forgot the Hipsy one.
yes,
I forgot.
little spitter that just sits there, does nothing.
Yeah, like we keep talking about this big dinosaur, but then we have this little cute thingy with a lot of feathers and very big. You
Yes.
call those things actually horns?
Those are kind of ornamentational feather, big fancy technical words there. Basically, show off eyebrows. Just go with the name that people have called it, Mr. Eyebrows.
Like I call it the hypo taco.
Yes, because it's exactly what it is.
It's basically an advanced taco from Legacy, actually, in my opinion. I've
Yeah.
been calling it the hypo taco
More
from the
feathers, more squeaks, more
yeah.
nonsense.
Like I've been calling it the hypo taco from the moment I actually saw any concept art from the dev team.
Yes.
Everybody like, no, that's not a hypothetical. I was like, that's a hypothetical. You cannot change my mind, and I will still
Nope.
call it the hype.
I
And I will,
tried.
and
I
I will,
will confess, I tried.
and I will still keep talking about it as a hypothetical. Like the concept is good. It will spit you. It's, I think they kind of get that idea from Primal Carnage. Like,
Yes, because they are going to give Dilo Venom, but it's going to be more like an actual thing where it has to bite, no spitting shit.
yeah,
The Hipsy, on the other hand, is going to have something. It does spit at you, but instead of like actually causing you pain, it just makes it you can't see it and it can run away.
it blinds you, and then it eases off in the distance, and you will never be seen again until you encounter another one.
Yes,
Also, a fun part: the Hipsy can climb trees
yes. Well,
because, well,
well, not exactly climb, but it can jump into some trees that have a little crook
yeah,
between two branches and sit there.
like if you're very good at coordinating your jumps with Hipsy, you will end up in trees.
Yes, if you're not, you will just jump between hoops until you're out of stam and a Utah decides it's going to put you out of your misery.
Yeah, and then we are breaking the cycle of the survival dinosaurs.
Yep.
Like
Okay.
survival on Evrima. is at the moment a big no-no.
Yes. You'll have more fun scooping off your friends on a free grow server that has no rules
Yeah.
than actually trying to survive in Everma.
Like, I gotta be honest, people, I also have a server on the Isle at the moment up and running called Royal Captains. At the moment, we're constantly on Legacy branch. But yeah, the moment apparently if update 3 is gonna hit, we should have gone to the Freema again. We have been like constantly swapping over every single update that they put out. We're gonna test it out and see how it is, and see if we're
Yeah,
actually gonna do stuff on the server at hand. But because of that, we have kitted it back to Legacy at the moment.
yeah, because every time the update's out, it's just a new set of creatures. Like the last update we were saying before we got Hipsy motivated. Was you had the Dryo AI, meat system, Hipsy, the Stego, and the playable Dryo.
Yeah, that's basically that was basically what we got. And then we first went in with Toronto and Utah to already scout out the map, like finding certain spots. I think I have like a certain pinpoint spots that I thought was like, oh, that's a pretty cool spot. I need to know where this location is.
Yep.
So I think I have like those small, how do you call it? Eye catch things, sightseeing things.
Yeah.
How do you call those things in English? I forgot the English word, people.
I'm not even sure what you're talking about, so I'm not too sure.
Hotspots.
Ah, yes, there we go.
Hotspots. I got it. All right. Like we have those small hotspots already on our server from Discord, and then that are, in my
Yep.
opinion, spots that you should have looked at when you're at the map in the map of Evrima. Isla
Yeah.
Spyro has, in my opinion, a very cool rock formation at one point. The latency is minus 596. The longitude is minus 782. Latitude Rocky Waterfall is at latitude minus 425 and longitude minus 657. In my opinion, at the moment, those things that I've found while basically roaming around free, giving me myself constantly a heal boost because I was dying. Because
Yes.
hey, at that moment there was nothing at all, not even a certain AI that was being able to be killed. So I only got
Yes.
2 at the moment, but I said it's basically not necessary to play a remake, in my opinion. I'm not gonna say that people do not need to play it, but
It's not a necessary thing.
yes,
And we also see how things go come the next update because, as you all know, it's been dragging on for a little while now. And this is actually why, and I'm gonna get flamed for this in the comments, is that I started playing Path of Titans. Yay! And I know a lot of people in the IO community are gonna be like, "How could you do that?"
Path of
I'll put it this
Titans,
way. Yeah.
a lot of deaths from the owl, and vice
Yes.
versa, are constantly skipping over between the 2 branches.
Yes. And for those people that buy into the story of that Deathly is the one that screwed over the Isle, considering everything that came out about Dondi, and if you haven't seen that either, I would recommend watching Sid Alpha's videos. They are good. I'm inclined to think that both had a falling out. No one really did anything to the game, and there's just someone found out about someone else's bullshit, and shit went sideways from there. And we will probably never know the true story because neither side is talking about it anymore.
Well, I
Um,
like that part.
but
Like I like that part basically. Like, all right, we had this storm. We had this tornado in the glass of water. Um,
yep,
Everybody was on high end, high alert constantly. Like, and then it basically died out because everybody was so excited about the new updates that were coming in. Everybody was like, "Yay, we got finally something!" And basically, all the shit that happened in the past regarding everything that happens in Legacy in the under the dev team is basically none of our concerns, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it has kind of gotten to the point of I really don't care anymore. I just want a good dinosaur game because, to be honest, it seems like the genre is somewhat cursed. Like both dragon and dinosaur games in general, and if you know what I'm talking about, then I don't need to say anything else. But yeah, I started playing Path of Titans because yeah, it still has some of the same issues as the Verma of it's got a big map, but the player count on the map is relatively small. But there's like a lot of extra content in Path of Titans that keep you going because you can run around and do quests, find location, pick up this food, go kill this dinosaur if you can find it, and you will get rewards like new skins and shit.
Oh,
Um,
you do not. Basically, what you then do is start off with a basic skin, or can you make your skin as well?
so you have a basic skin that you can customize that you start out with, and then basically the more points you unlock from doing quests, the more ability you have to unlock new skins and customize those as well.
Okay, so basically, it's like a talent thing that you need to find, and then you can
Yeah,
continue.
and it's just and there's no like in-game buying bullshit or whatnot. It's just stuff that is pure in-game currency that you have to get by doing quests. Um, and there is actually like, yeah, there's food scattered around the map, but it's not like hard to find either. And it's funny how it's like placed in spots that are almost they know you're gonna go this way to get this shit done or to find this spot, and you'll just go, oh look, food right when I need it.
It's just there.
Yeah, and they already have a form of working fish AI that actually is honestly, I would say fairly decent. And if the Verma fish is going to be anything like that, I think we have plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, I think one of the devs that worked on Path of Titans regarding the fish is also working on the fish branch in Arima.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about that, but I think certain devs between both games are working on both set of games, but with a different, how do you
Oh,
say it?
put it this way. Between the four main games I can think of for dinosaur games, that's just Primal Carnage, Beast of Bermuda, The Isle, and Path of Titans,
Oh, don't
they
forget
all
the art.
have
Don't
a
forget the art.
shared dev team type history
Yeah,
going on. And
yeah, they constantly work together. Like you can say what you want. Devs going in and out of the game constantly. So basically, what I was
from
talking about was the devs between those four main dinosaur games are constantly swapping between those four games. Like especially the
yeah,
sound guy that's constantly like everybody sees those updates on the Discord. Like, oh, the sound desk moved to. I think he moved to Primal Carnage again
yes,
because they wanted to do something about some roars or something. But I think
yeah,
the moment he fixed that problem again, he will pop back into the aisle to make
yeah.
the next patch of sounds for their new dinosaurs that are coming up.
This is true. And if you can all remember back when we got the first Everma trailer and that whole thing at the end where Carnage comes home and you just hear the Primal Carnage Rex thing roaring in the background, is like, was that the biggest clickbait or what?
That's clickbait. That's clickbait at its finest. Like
Yes,
you're gonna click on it, you're gonna see the carnage at the end, and then you're gonna be like, I actually want to know what this carnage is about. You type in carnage in YouTube, and you will
yes.
find
Usually
thousands
Primal
and
Carnage, the
thousands,
first thing.
yeah, thousands and thousands of Primal Carnage videos. One of probably is mine, but who cares? Um, and then you're gonna get like, oh, they're actually constantly working together. Like
Yes,
that's what we have at the moment. Like everybody thinks the devs among those four big dinosaur games that we have are constantly in a fight. But I think it's not being constantly in a fight. I think they're just finishing up the patch that they need to do for that certain game and being rehired by not by the three others to do their sounds, and then The moment that is done, they will probably get rehired by the owl to redo
Yeah.
some sounds.
Well, because honestly, the only hostility between the games are in the communities themselves of the player base. The devs
Yeah,
don't seem to have any hostility towards each other in public or private settings that most of the community is privy to.
indeed.
Most of the toxicity is players that are staunch loyalists of certain X game will just completely rip the shit out of the other three games because they love their game much more than those other games.
That is true. Like the toxicity between certain communities can go that deep that they were legit or like not gonna play with on another dinosaur game.
Yeah,
I have
and I
a
know toxic communities because I play Mord Hal.
I know the biggest toxic community ever. World of Warcraft,
Yep.
Horde, and Alliance. Like that's the biggest toxic. Oh, yeah, I can't even speak anymore. Tox.
Toxicity between the two factions
That
in the
one.
game.
It's.
However, if you actually follow, and I don't play some of these games, but I like following the lore because I like fantasy.
Mhm.
And honestly, following the lore of World of Warcraft, and I find that neither the Horde nor the Alliance really have much to really fight over in the lore anymore at this point in time in the story, seeing as there's other problems happening. And it wouldn't be the first time the
No.
lore that the factions would have to work together to solve X problem.
Cataclysm. Perfect example. Wrath of the Lich King.
Ta-da!
Perfect example.
Ta-da!
Mist of Pandaria. Biggest threat was Garrosh Hellscream. What did we needed to do?
Ta-da!
What we needed to do? Okay, every faction goes separately into the raid, but you needed to destroy Garrosh Hellscream.
Yes.
Shadowlands. Guess who started all the shit? Sylvanas. Guess who's gonna
Yes.
need to fix it? The Horde and the Alliance together. The
Yes.
best, latest expansion, in my opinion, that actually shows yet again Horde versus Alliance is Battle for Azeroth. Biggest spoiler now that I'm gonna tell you. If you find an old CD box from Warcraft 2, and I know that's an old game, but if you're gonna find an old box of it and you're gonna search directly under the title, it will say Warcraft 2 Battle for Azeroth.
Yes.
Ba-ba-da-ba. People do not expect that. They will. People are like, "Oh, we got a new expansion," and actual Warcraft players, like I do, were like,
We know nobody has an original thought.
"This
Ever.
sounds so familiar," and then some of the community and other people that outside of the community were searching for that specific reference, Battle for Azeroth, and we all came to the same conclusion. It is and it's basically an
A
expansion
redo of this old
of.
thing
No, it's not
from
really.
back
It's
then.
no, it's not a redo. It's basically a recycled title.
Yes.
The only thing was different is World of Warcraft on top of it.
Yes.
But we drifted off yet again from our Isle and Legacy
Yes, I
in
was
the
about to
Dreamer.
mention that.
um,
But anyways,
I got one more thing to say.
yes.
Survival on Legacy. Doable still? Yes.
Doable still. Yeah.
Necessary?
Not really anymore.
If you want to hone your skills before going into a Vrima, I'm gonna say play survival on Legacy.
Yes, but if you're going to go into a Verma and you're just expecting a whole lot of shit, just get yourself used to the regular trolling nonsense you'll find on sandbox servers.
Yeah, get used to the trollings. Get used to trolls on sandbox servers.
It's never going to stop.
No, it's
But
constantly happening.
no.
like a lot of people are like, often we're going to like in a sandbox no rule server.
Yep.
Fun part, shocking part. Guess what? Every sandbox server has rules, even when it
Yes.
says no rules.
Yes.
Like, for example, EOFT, Isle of the Forgotten Times.
Currently one of the most populated servers on Legacy at this point, aside from the official ones.
Yes, well, official ones are dead on Legacy.
Yeah.
Like, I have a Rex, I had a Rex on US one and EU one. Both got deleted, and those servers are down. They're like, well, they're still up, but it's like nobody playing on it.
Well, shit.
Especially nobody from Europe is playing on them. Like we all either on Azura, EOFT, sometimes on our own because sometimes we just want to chill out with no
Yep.
sounds around us because EOFT is loud when you get to certain
Yes.
spots.
Yep.
Um,
But anyways, back to the whole thing about ruled servers with rules and even lack thereof still having rules.
yeah, like we all have this small thingies. Like, do we actually want to have these rules? And yes, rules are still necessary on certain servers. You need to follow
Yes.
them, and they're there. Like, we had to call
Because you
out.
can't trust people to govern themselves very well.
No. Like, if you have a huge player base that is constantly playing on a server, they start knowing the rules. And then when admins are not on, the player base will tell people what they're doing wrong. And then,
Even if it's not actually something that they're doing, and the
yeah,
fact that the other person's mini modding is actually the problem.
like sometimes it's necessary that players help out an admin that is not online. Like
Yes.
reports,
Because
yes,
players will
but
see more shit.
yeah, reports are good, yes, but admin can only act to that certain report, then an actual see it. If somebody
Yep.
sees something happening on the server, you go and get called out, and people will go bonkers about it.
However, I have discovered too that sometimes not even that is going to work out, because I've
Mm-hmm.
had incidences where I've had pre yeah, because I was mentioning that I had point in time on EOFT where I had happened to me where I was just randomly packed with this other Utah. Just honestly, we weren't even worried about surviving, we were just wandering around trying to figure out, okay, where the heck did we wind up? And there's just this Maya just slowly keeps poking itself into our peripheral,
Mm-hmm.
and it just keeps following us and following us. And then out of nowhere, it just comes over and rams into the one Utah and kills him. I managed to get away. I did see that Maya also then got tanked by a Rex afterwards, but still. And then the problem afterwards that the admin that was on, I tried telling them what happened. And their instant thing, do you have a recording? I'm like, you think I'm recording the entire time I'm playing the game? What do you think I am, some kind of YouTuber?
What do you expect? Do you want me to record everything? But
Exactly.
I record only the gameplay that I want to record, and like
Exactly.
sometimes you have
And
those people that will legit record every single gameplay, every single
simply because
time.
they're waiting to report somebody.
Yeah, I find it funny that I can put those trolls into something that, according to them, is illegal to do, but yet still in. Like I got called out. I think I got reported on EOS or something for like surfing on the beach, but I was not even there. I was not close to the beach at all. So I was like, why did I got reported? And they were like, yeah, you were basically surfing. I was like, I haven't been to the beach in like more than 30 minutes. So if it happened before that, I'm gonna say it's possible. If it happens between
Yes.
now and that 30-minute marker, like before,
Not
I
no,
wasn't
not
even there
possible.
and had friends with me that could legit stand up for me. And so basically the report got nowhere. Like those trolls needs to go.
Yeah.
Like
And then there's the whole problem of people getting confused on what rules are constituting what in this is something that actually happened more recently where our other friend told us that we got reported on the EOF server. Um, we were actually around the herd at Lake 2 at
yeah,
Twins. I was a Rex. Asuko, not even trying to hunt anything or kill anything, just randomly ran through the herd, biting all the big things, and then proceeded to bite me, and then 3 call and run into the water. I chased it in, killed it, and went back out. This player was trolling, I just killing it just on the stances I hate trolls and I will kill them on sight. And we got reported for that of you killing in water. You did by
yeah, I
all
remember that.
circumstances, the Suko was the one that broke more rules than anybody else on that day in question.
I found it funny that the Zuko reported it, and everybody was like, "No, actually, the Zuko was in fault."
Actually, I don't think it was the Suko that reported. I think it was just a random player that saw
Yeah, over
the
random player.
aftermath of what happened and me killing the Suko.
That's what happens. People only will report what they see. They will never go into the entire story of it. Like that's Zuko.
No,
I
and
think
this is the problem too of you will have the same event happen to 3 different people and each person will see it in 3 different ways.
yeah, that's basically what there's a theory that's calls like that. I can't get to the name, but
Yeah.
you can have let's say 10 people watch the same thing, and they're all gonna come up with a different story.
Yep.
Nobody will tell you the exact story that's happening. But anyway,
No.
we're over
Getting off
the
topic again.
yeah we're also hitting the 1 hour mark at the moment. Um,
Yes.
the thing is, Legacy of Rima, both are playable. At the moment, Legacy has still more ambient to it than Evrima. We
Yeah.
are still awaiting the third update because we're gonna get Fishing, Dainosukazin, the Pterodon will come in.
Yep.
And we're gonna see what's gonna happen from there. Basically, how will it turn out? Will we get more AI? Will a Utah be able to eat fish to survive?
Will anything start happening sooner rather than later?
Like, I've checked the roadmap updates, and I have to say, they're like pretty good, pretty close to finishing of the fish.
Yeah. And seeing as the trend on wasn't on this last roadmap update, I'm gonna say that it's either close to or completed and just waiting for the update to come out.
Yeah, the Pterodon needs like at least 2 more hits before it can become playable. Like most of them ends up like with 3 or 4 hits below the actual complete.
Completion. There you go.
Yes, and yeah, sorry people, English is not my first language. Um,
No, but it is mine and only language.
so it's basically it needs to like have 1 or 2 more points, and then it will be good to play at.
Yeah.
Dainsukas needs like 7 or 9, close to 8.
So let me actually check because I saw that the other day. Yeah, it needs about 9, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but to actual playable, they need to hit like 42 or 46, and now they're
Yeah,
at
and it's at
35.
35.
So let's say 7 to be playable.
Yeah. Whereas the fish, both elite and schooling, only need 2 more points. Trendon's not even on this dev blog, which means, and its at last point was at it needed 4.
Yeah.
And seeing as the progression of the other things has gone much faster than the Dino,
Yep.
I'm going to say it's fairly close to being done at this point for the Pteranodon, which is actually surprising considering that's the system that's going to be the more complex to implement because it's all flying related.
Yeah, but I've seen videos of them using the testing in flying, and it's already flying pretty
Yes,
good. Like if
yes,
you play sometimes the Pteranodon on BOB, it's somewhat the same amount of flying. So yet again, there's another dev from BOB working on the owl apparently
yeah.
for the
Uh,
Pteranodon.
I still though can't condone the takeoff animation of it running over on its little itty bitty legs and flapping its arms like a crazy man. I prefer where it's just quad launching itself into the air, because that makes the most sense. It's how they're supposed to work, and it's not looking like it's going to fall on its face.
Hippity hoppity.
Exactly.
Like um, I saw the how do you call it, the teaser video from the Dinosuchus, like
Yep.
close over a year and a half now, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna introduce this in Legacy, and will basically constantly be around waters, but let's face it, the rivers on Legacy are not deep enough.
No, and there's only one set of rivers that is, and it's at the area of the map where almost no one goes.
Lazy River.
Yeah, and then the canyon that splits off from it, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's it. That
None of
was
the rivers are even deep enough to swim in on most of that map.
no, and it's still a croco, so it needs to be if you want to play
In
it.
the water.
Yeah, but if you're gonna play it like um, in full realism, it's gonna be constantly laying on in the mud.
Yes.
You
It
know,
need water, it need mud, it need fish, or else it's useless.
a croco will only go up in land if it's actually being chased on land, or
Or if it's
to
gonna
lay,
actually chase something on land.
or to lay just in the sun. But yet again, then it will lay in the mud.
Yes.
I'm kind of excited to see what they did with the Dinosuchus, though.
That will be interesting to see once it comes. And seeing as we also have, as they did a recent update with Path of Titans, they have the Sarcosuchus, which is, for everybody who knows what that is, basically another kind of big crocodile from dinosaur times. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting to compare them once they're there because it will more or less be a very similar playing experience once everything's said and done. What will
Oh,
be interesting to see then is comparing the Pteranodon between Isle and Beast of Bermuda because that's the only other game out there that has ability to fly around properly as as a pterosaur, whereas Primal Carnage just kind of barely squeaks that thing. It's more like trying to fly a helicopter.
well, Primal Carnage also has a Pteranodon.
Yeah, but it's definitely not the same kind of flying. It's more just pointing the creature in a direction and hoping it goes there.
It's like I'm gonna fly there, and I'm gonna hope it's gonna end there, and I will get shot in
Yep,
midair.
yep. And whereas flying in Beast of Bermuda actually feels more like flying. You can level out, you can dive, you can just glide through the air if you just don't feel like going fast and just cruising from one point to the other.
Yeah, the best way in BOB when you're actually flying the Pteranodon is the best way to get somewhere very fast is basically go up to a high altitude or just start from an altitude that you think like from this point on I
It's
can like start doing the dive and going up mechanism. Um,
yep.
and that way you're gonna create high, which is gonna give you a deeper dive. But spoiler alert, Mosasaurus they can jump pretty high.
It's
Yeah, been there, done that.
yep.
But yes, I think we hit everything at the moment about update 3, Isle Legacy, Isle of Rima.
And everything
Um,
else that kind of connects to it via just doing analogies to everything else.
Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed this little conversation between me and Kassirex to actual pinpoint some discussable things about the game at the moment. Anyway, we're not gonna keep you longer than this. We are
Nope.
very happy that you got to the end of it. And we
We
will see
hope you
you
did
all.
anyways.
Yeah. I hope we will see you all in the next one. Have a
Yep.
good one. Bye.
Bye.